IT in the D, only on rawradiox.com.
Clytus, I'm bored. What plaything can you offer me today?
Excuse me, sir, is this the Delta House?
Sure. Come on in.
The following program is intended for mature audiences.
I was banging on the wang.
Woo!
This is the ladies' man.
Woo! I can't say no, and I don't really want to, so I'm...
Well, especially with the back doors open.
Woo!
We just lost our clean tag on iTunes.
Woo!
Should I keep going, or should I stop?
Woo!
How much scotch did you drink that night, by the way?
Half a bottle.
Okay, then shut the hell up.
Woo!
You're in your underwear, I'm in my underwear. Here, let's hang out.
Woo! Woo!
Really? Should we talk about this? Tag team it.
Woo!
I may have to wipe the geek off.
Woo!
Am I the meanest?
Sure enough.
Am I the prettiest?
Sure enough.
Am I the baddest mofo low down around this town?
Sure enough.
Well, who am I?
Sure enough.
The Shogun of Harlem.
You're so white right now.
Woo!
Shut up. Stop talking.
Woo!
How are we not sponsored by PBR and Slim Jim yet? Damn it.
Take him to Detroit.
No! No, not Detroit! No! No, please! Anything but that! No!
I used to hang out at the Magumba Bar. It was a rough place, the seediest dive on the wharf, populated with every reject and cutthroat from Bombay to Calcutta. It's worse than Detroit.
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Then don't come! Shut up!
Woo!
Yeah, I can't take that position.
Woo!
I don't know who brought that bell in, but Bob's got a new toy.
Guess Captain Soundboard doesn't know how to run the soundboard.
Woo!
Are we at a break yet?
Woo!
So, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
The question isn't what are we going to do. The question is what aren't we going to do.
Ludicrous speed! Go!
All right, and we are live at Raw Radio X at Russell Studios. We don't have Bob, so I'm going to go ahead and do my best.
We are working without a net tonight.
Yeah, we are working. Well, we're working without a sales guy. I don't know if we want to refer to him as the net or not. He's occasionally the anchor. I don't know that I would call him the net.
I'm keeping your seat warm up for you, Bob.
Yeah, exactly. He was having a good old time squooshing his ass all around your chair, Bob. So have a good time with that. So tonight we've got just me, Dave the Geek. We've got Jeff the sales guy. We do have a room full of guests tonight, which is very, very cool.
Full house.
We've got Jim and Danny from Toscano Media. Am I pronouncing that right? Is it Toscano?
That is correct.
Media.
Thanks for having us.
And absolutely. Guys did a bang-up job, and we'll get into that in a little bit. We've got Sherry Voles from, it used to be Blue Argyle Media,
absolutely.
but she locked herself out of a server and said, to hell with this nonsense. I'm not doing this anymore. So she's just...
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
Screw you guys, I'm just me and my camera. Welcome.
Thank you, and that's the last time I ever share a personal story like that with you.
No, it won't be. We'll get more clue in you. And then we've got Tom, who's here from Cengage, but here to talk about the Agile and Beyond conference coming up in February.
February 22nd.
Outstanding. So I guess, just to ramble about, like we usually do, open things up. So
we've got a laundry list of things to talk about.
We
were
always
sharing
do.
Emails back and forth, and the list is like what, 20 stories long?
Yeah,
now?
exactly. And inevitably we'll get to like two of them.
Right, exactly.
So just to handle business, we do have, and I didn't add it in the intro.
Are we going to do it again?
Long.
Let's do it again.
So it is. The phone number is 313-462-0107 if you want to call in.
No one's going to call.
Yeah. You can hit us on Twitter at IT in the D.
No one's going to add us.
And you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/IT in the D.
No one's going to like us.
Because it's just like high school. So,
although we might have one caller tonight.
Exactly. We may. You never know. So just a couple of things that I wanted to yak about. We did have, we've always had the interesting conversation about, the erosion of privacy and things going away. And Bob keeps saying, oh, it's not that bad as long as it's not advertising. They're not that
marketing
bad
to you. It's fine. They're just spying on you.
Right. So now there's a company in the UK called Optimize that just launched, they just filed all the patents, and they're launching the software for facial recognition software to target market you while you're walking around gas stations and malls.
The whole Minority Report has become a reality.
Exactly. Here we are. And it's one of those things where we keep saying, oh, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal. But you couple that with your Terminator robots.
What year did Minority Report take place in? The movie came out in 2002, right?
Yeah, I'm like, well, yeah, wasn't it supposed to be like 2012 or something that's already long since gone
pretty
by?
damn close to reality now.
So yeah, I mean, you've got all the the Terminator robots in South Korea that allegedly only hunt jellyfish.
Well, then they got the ones that were dropping books. Like you order books, and the little drones were dropping school books on people.
Oh yeah, from in Australia. But then, so funny little side story.
True story.
It's a little side story. With the GPS signal in your phone. Yeah. So basically, you order books, and this company will load up a drone with your books, and using the GPS signal in your phone, literally drop the books off to you. So now Domino's...
If you're not paying attention, you'll get knocked in the head.
Oh, yeah. So now Domino's has filed the patents for delivering pizzas in that manner.
Seriously.
Absolutely. So there's still all the restrictions in the United States about how, you can't have a drone that flies. It can't be more than 400 feet in the air. It can't fly out of line of sight of the operator, all that fun stuff. But it's coming.
Instantly, I'm like thinking of Ghostbusters. I've been slimed. I've been pepperonied.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh,
it's a drive-by pepperoni.
Yeah, you think it's bad when a bird craps on your car when you're driving on the highway. You get a double cheese pepperoni pizza hitting
This is
you
an
on
example of
696.
technology. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something.
What do you tip a drone?
Yeah, exactly. Right. What happens when you don't tip it?
Yeah,
it's going to come back with a Sidewinder missile.
It'll go call its cousins in South Korea that are hunting jellyfish. But just on that same topic about patents, one of the other ones that caught my eye, and it's kind of near and dear to us, is so Google just filed a whole bunch of patent paperwork about a method of hiring people based on their relationships within social networks.
Wait, they filed a patent for that?
So apparently they're coming out with basically amped up algorithms within Google Plus, because their whole thing is...
Yeah, because everyone uses Google Plus.
Yeah, exactly. Again, the gym membership of the internet. Everybody rushes to join, and then nobody actually goes. But no, so I mean, it's, but it kind of leads to an interesting conversation where, if you're only kind of attracting you wind up sitting in an echo chamber, because you only hear the same opinions, and if you're only recruiting from the same
us.
Right. Yeah. If you're only hearing the same opinions from the same social circles, it really isn't going to lead to any kind of diversity or just divergent opinions in the workplace at all.
I'm not following what they're patenting. I don't get what the attraction is there.
Well, so it's essentially, LinkedIn has their whole thing with search, and everybody uploads their resumes and that kind of stuff. And
apparently, that's mineable data.
Yeah, the interpretation of this is that Google will basically bring back to you, based on what kind of candidate you're looking for, here's what our algorithm pulls up from the various social circles within Google Plus. Here's who you want to hire.
So they're tracking all that data regardless of whether or not you're logged into Google, regardless of whether or not Google can see your activity on Facebook, Twitter, at all, whatever.
Exactly. So you've got the drones and the GPS. Bob?
Oh, my gosh.
Long time listener, first time caller.
Yeah, you've been waiting all night to say that one, haven't
you? Are you on your car phone?
That one at the airport.
So you're sitting basically in Jeff's living room at the 615 Bar and Grill, I read?
Yeah, what's up with that?
I was downstairs in the hotel bar, and I was looking on Yelp to try to find a cool place to go to for tomorrow. And I found the 615 Bar and Grill. I'm like, Jeff would be happy there.
That's very cool.
Felt the same way and everything.
Wow. Is their website done on WordPress?
I think it's down right now.
It's not what they want it to be anyway.
Right.
Right.
So, and you are aware that you can't be here with us, Bob?
Minneapolis.
And for what purpose that is more important than us?
My paycheck.
Yeah. I guess that merits.
We're not getting paid for this. I don't understand.
Yeah, exactly. How does that happen? We're not getting paid for this yet. Yeah. And although I will give Bob all the credit in the world, he actually sent an email to Pabst with a link to the shows
every week,
and said, just so we're clear,
where's our check?
Yeah, we promote your show every week.
Right.
We'd really like to have some. We'd really like to talk about sponsorships. That'd be awesome.
Yes.
But then again, just talking about stuff that happened over the weekend. So daylight savings time just went by, and kind of like I was saying in the bar, my biggest argument now against daylight savings time is children.
Yes,
because kids have no concept of daylight savings time. They don't. All they know is that now they're waking up at what they think is the same time, but it's really an hour earlier, and it's just evil. And there was this whole thing that was floating around the internet today about how there's this movement to basically drop the United States down to 2 time zones.
Nothing good could come of that.
So, East and West, sort of that'll just lead to a sort of a odd civil war thing breaking out. No,
I have a better idea, Dave.
Of course you do, Bob.
Go
I
ahead.
think it should be backwards, so it's always dark at 7 o'clock. Wouldn't that make more sense?
Wherever you're at.
Yeah, because it goes dark at 9 o'clock in summer, 5 o'clock in winter. So make it backwards, so it's always dark at 7.
Well, and one of the arguments that they were giving is that people don't really base their schedules anymore. We're not an agrarian society. We base our, more of our schedule.
Well, we aren't.
Well, no, but I mean, more of our scheduling is based around, honestly, TV than where the sun is during the course of the day. And so, you look at, the time shifts of television across the country, and, the examples they gave where, so China, naturally spans 5 or was it 5 or 6? I think it was 6 time zones. Yet they have one time zone throughout their entire country. You've got Alaska that naturally spans 4, and yet they're all in one time zone.
Right.
So why not?
Well, aren't there states? Isn't Arizona in what is it, Mountain Time? But they don't even observe.
Oh yeah, so sometimes the year we're 2 hours ahead of them. Sometimes we're 3.
Yeah. So how you have one state that's like, no, we're not going to play.
Well, for the longest time, and I don't even know if this is still true or not, but I mean, for the longest time, there were different cities and counties in like Indiana.
Right. The line isn't a straight line. It goes around trees.
Yeah, you could be hopping through the interstate and lose an hour just out of nowhere when you're in the same state.
So we have invented time travel.
It's funny you say that. I just sent out 5 emails today going, did I put the schedule in the calendar in Eastern or Central Time?
Good story, Bob. Thanks for calling. So you are you're out there for some, what is it, a training thing, a sales thing? What you got going on out there?
You getting Sandler again?
All of it. I got customer calls, I got meetings, I got training, I got lunches, I got beers, I got lots of things.
Life is getting in the way.
As long as you got beers in there.
Yeah, I got and a QBR.
I was going to say, I'm sure there's beer in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be that hard to find.
You cracking one right now?
I'm drinking a Fat Tire right now. They didn't have Pabst.
Oh, that's all right. That's a good choice.
Blasphemy.
Yeah.
Well, you're an hour behind us, so you can go find a PBR in the next hour, and you'll be fine.
I am, absolutely. I did not want to hold you guys up. I just wanted to chime in and say, hey, I love the intro. Sorry I couldn't be there. I wish I was there, and I will see you guys soon.
Yeah, scenery is here. Wish you were beautiful.
That's right. Yep. We're keeping your seat warm for you. All right, man.
See you, man.
Take care.
See you guys later.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.
This is great radio.
And we're just cranking it right out.
So what is it? Only 10 after 9,
right? About quarter after. But no. So another thing that caught my eye is there was this whole, and this is actually a good sign based on some of the stuff that we've talked about in the past. Like we always hammer on kids today do not know how to have a conversation. They don't know how to interact with anybody because it's all click, 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 click. It's all
social
Facebook.
media's become antisocial.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and so there was this whole thing about yet another story about the exodus of teenagers from Facebook, but a couple of the interviews were actually encouraging on some level because they were saying a lot of these kids they were interviewing were saying, look, when it comes to Facebook, like I've gotten to the point where I don't want to broadcast everything to a couple of hundred friends, like and so they're shifting to Snapchat, Kick, and that kind of stuff because I really want to just share things with one friend. And so like the only thing I'm like, okay, so why not just get together with that one friend? Like you're almost
it's
there,
not cool.
but you're almost there. You've realized the paradigm that sharing with hundreds is not necessarily needed.
That's the beauty of kids. They still won't get it.
Well, and so Sherry, you've got and you're in the same boat. You've both got kids. I mean, how do do you have any concerns about them floating around on social media? Because my daughter's only 6, and I'm already worried about her.
Oh, I have incredible. I've talked with my son, and he's not a kid anymore. He's like he's almost 25. So
well, still,
but
yeah,
but he's grown up in an age where he's using Facebook all the time, and the things that he was doing while he was being an adolescent were less than things that I really wanted to be public, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, I think we've all said that. Thank God we didn't grow up in the Facebook era, or else we'd all be in jail.
I'd be in jail. Yep.
I'd be cooked. Yeah, no doubt about it. So, I mean, I had to have a conversation with him about that. I was like, think of it as your resume because it's going to end up out there where somebody's going to see it and you're going to want to get hired. And you know what? He completely modified his behavior. So
the internet is your permanent record.
It's proof, though, that your kids will listen to you when they get older.
Wow, so something to look forward to. Write that down. Yeah. Well, and Sherry, you've got teenagers, right?
I have one teenager, just a teenager, 13, and he's actually pretty cautious. He's really cautious about who he's friends with, and He's cautious about what kind of conversations he gets sucked into. And there's been a situation before where he's made an innocent comment on Facebook. And the subsequent comments were less than tasteful for kids of that age.
We don't know anyone who would do that.
No,
we don't.
We have that transcript.
He got sucked into all of that, and it turned into a big thing at his school, and ended up turning into a big assembly at the school. And
Free afternoon. The kids probably were happy.
Yeah, right. They were actually happy. But that one instance of him partaking in it innocently enough wasn't enough for him to be really turned off by social media, actually. So we stick with the texting and emailing. And
so the trick is get your kids to have a bad experience with social media.
Yeah, burn them early.
Danny is a teenager, so.
Former teenager.
Well, and, you guys are basically living your lives on social media right now, trying to get out there, and and we'll definitely get back into that more later. Where you guys are launching your own thing and trying to get out there more. So I mean, how do you balance this was the me, the real me on Facebook, but oh wait, all of a sudden now I have to be corporate me that's trying to talk to people about jobs and gigs and businesses and that kind of stuff.
Right. Well, I'm 35, so I didn't really grow up on it, but I use it. And I don't always like it, but I feel like I have to stay with it because
it's a necessary evil.
Yeah, right when I think, okay, that's enough, I'm going to take a break and log out for a while. Someone calls me and said, "Oh, I just saw
there's
one of
another
your
cat
videos."
picture." Yeah.
It's like it's like you log out for like a day and like you miss like a year's worth of conversations because it flies by, like a fire hose of information.
And one time, my son Charlie, my other son, bit his finger. And I filmed that and put that on YouTube, and that got really popular for a while. So I don't know if you saw that, Danny.
Yeah, I think so. Like 6 years ago.
this one time on Facebook. So I guess just real quick. I mean, how's that going? I mean, you guys are just launching your own thing and your own business, and it is in the era of social media, which has its good touch and bad touch because you can be as big as you would like to project to be without necessarily having all of the the backing that a large company would. I mean, how's that working out for you guys as you're getting out there?
Well, I think it definitely helps. I mean, we couldn't do without it. And actually, right now we don't even have a website.
I know that I pointed that out.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But then we like it that way, right, Danny? We're kind of like under the radar.
Right. Yeah, we'll go that route right now.
For you.
See, exactly.
I did. I wanted to see I got to see the sneak preview of a video that you had done.
Okay.
Yeah. And I wanted to see more. And you actually made me cry. I did find you, I think, on Vimeo.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. What'd you cry about? My videos?
You know what?
They weren't that kind of video.
No. It was the gospel.
Okay. Yeah.
The Eminem song.
Yep. Okay.
A little tear, yeah. And
good.
it wasn't streaming or anything, but
that's good. That's what we were looking for. Just a little tear, half a tear.
Yeah, we can get one tier, we succeed.
You're changing the world one tier at a time.
Well, it's turning into a high touch world, right? So
I was just going to say from a conference organization standpoint. I mean, when you're trying to launch, you can't do that without being out on social media right now.
It can't be done without it. And it's there's so many channels. You've got to reach out in so many different ways. For us, we've had to rely on the website, but also word of mouth, all the other kind of social media, Twitter, and I mean, we post to let people know what we're doing and when we're doing it, and to also ask them, repost it, tell people that because it's I mean, the network is everything now.
Well, I mean, and that's the same challenge. We've always said, okay, look, our website is going to be home base. It is what it is. And we've got our Facebook page and the meetup group and LinkedIn and all that other fun stuff. And what kind of by trial and error, what we've just been learning is that people want to be and that's the hard part is people want to be interacted with differently on different platforms. Yeah. Our website, they want blogs, they want full content, they want to read. Facebook, they want silly, stupid memes.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be the first to admit, like when we started, joking around with our Facebook posts, and Dave started posting all the funny memes on there, I resisted. I'm like, dude, what are we doing? This is supposed to be a business organization. But I had to sit back and realize that each different social network has different audiences, and the Facebook audience, at least in our instance, they want to have that living room, crack open a beer and have a laugh, as opposed to LinkedIn, where you're trying to connect with somebody on a business professional level.
Yeah, I call it a high touch world, and that's why I say there's so many different channels, but you've got to do something with each one of them. I mean, you can't just rely on just one way.
No, you can't, because you'll inevitably miss an entire segment of the demographic that you're trying to hit just because they're not there.
And I've gotten hit with that. They're like, oh, I missed it. right? You know, I miss my, and it's like, okay, what can I do about that?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Well, and and unfortunately, you can't just cram it down people's throats. Where okay, well, this is where I do everything, and so therefore that's where you must go to find it. It just doesn't work that way. Yeah. But like that's the challenge that we've had with. We still don't know what we're doing with like Meetup, for example.
As far as I can tell, nobody knows what they're really doing, right? Nobody's got the answer. There is no one answer because every time that happens, it's like they move the bullseye.
Oh yeah, well that's why it made us laugh. We actually had an owner of a company came up to me at one of our events at Blackfin and said, hey, I want you to come in and do like a presentation and a training class for my recruiters because, you guys are like social media experts. Literally almost sprayed beer over them and just started laughing. And I'm like, no, we're not. I'm like, and more to the point, nobody is.
We've made more mistakes than we've actually had successes.
Well,
actually, those are the people that you do call experts.
Well, but
right?
not only that,
we're trying. That's
may be
that's
really,
the key.
really great at one, but you're not. There's nobody that's. Like you're not, an expert on Facebook and on Twitter and on LinkedIn and on Meetup and on Instagram and you may have your area of expertise, but it's not.
Yeah, I always say an expert is someone who knows one more thing than I do or made one more mistake than I have.
Right, absolutely. Yeah. And that's really all it takes.
And keeps going.
Yeah.
It does it anyway.
Or at least learns from it, right?
Well, right, that's what I mean, yeah.
Well, it's like it's the old expression, the first one's not a mistake. You get to call that one a learning experience.
It's a mulligan.
It's only a mistake if you do it twice. All right, so actually, wow, believe it or not, we're already coming up against the first break.
Are we? A little early?
Well, we're about there with this break because, I want to sit down, I want to go through the notes, and I want to make sure we hit on Toscano and double back with all the guests. Well, you know what? I was going to say somebody was calling in, and I was going to give them a shot and try to answer, but they blew away again. So
really, that was fast.
Yeah. Actually, you know what we should do? Just because this is going to make me laugh. So we are giving away tickets tonight for, hey, it is what it is, man. St. Andrews Hall wanted us to play nice.
I know.
We're trying to play nice. So we'll make...
What was the catchphrase that you wanted to give away?
Yeah, exactly. So Bob's not here, so we're going to blame him for this because this was all his brainchild. So what we want you to do is we're going to play a little cut here for you as we head into the break. It's The Devil Makes Three is the band, and they're at St. Andrews Hall next Saturday night. If you want to go, hit us up on Twitter at IT&the and just say, I want Bob's tickets. We'll pick one at random between now and the end of the show, and we do have more tickets for different bands coming up next week as well, and we'll figure out. I swear to God, we'll figure out a better way to do this.
This will be the only time people add us on Twitter.
It's entirely possible. So
is that the way to say that? By the way, I don't know.
Add us. Who knows? Again, we're not social media experts.
Yeah, I'm proving it right now.
Right. So we'll go ahead and let this play. We'll head into the break. We'll come back with Toscano Media and Sherry Voles and Jim talking about Tom. Sorry, God, see it. It's
you need a cheat sheet.
Names wrong, right?
And that's why I have this here.
And Jim,
Bob, talking about the Agile and Beyond conference. We'll be back.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
I'll talk to you about
All right, and speaking of welcome back to the IT and the D show. Yeah, apparently there is some wonkiness with the phone line here this morning, tonight. That's what I was out there talking to Karen about.
So it's not Bob's fault.
Right, so it's not.
Can we blame him anyway?
We will, absolutely. That's what we're here for. But the phone number is 313-462-0107 if you want to call in. Hit us on Twitter at IT and the D. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/IT and the D. So let's hop in with Jim and Danny. And let's talk about Toscano Media. So you guys, you reached out through DetroitNet, and kind of let me know the background of what was going on. And I said, well, we not really a whole lot with DetroitNet that we do, but hey, there's this other thing that might be cool. You might want to chat. So so what led you to this position? Why'd you reach out, and how do we wind up hooking up?
So what happened was Danny and I were working for an automobile magazine website. We did video production.
Okay.
And we've both, Danny's right out of college. I'm a little bit older than him, but we've always done video production. I have an advertising agency background. Anyways, we were no longer working at the magazine, and we wanted to do something fun, something for our reels, for publicity. And my little sister actually went to the XICW wrestling with a teacher friend of hers, and she told us about it. I looked at the website. I was dying to do something, some kind of video for XICW. And I talked to Danny. I said, we got to do this. He agreed. I called Dave, and we showed up at the wrestling, a month later.
Yep,
and brought our cameras, a couple guys.
Yeah. You were brave and brought all your nice equipment into the Ritz in Warren.
Yeah. We had the rain gear on it and the Pabst Blue Ribbon rain
Covers.
gear. Yeah. So we had a bunch of guys. There was 2 extra guys besides us that were dying to come out. They had a great time, and we shot what we think is some pretty good footage at the match.
Yeah, the commercial turned out to be fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm actually going to throw a link to it out off of the Twitter feed at IT and the D here in a sec.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so we got together a couple weeks ago and just started taking a look through some of the footage you guys had, and it blew my mind. It's one of those things where I've always said, that it's easy enough to try to hack your way through something, and you can enough duct tape, you can try to get things done as much as you can, but then once you see somebody who actually really knows what they're doing, you're like, yeah, I'm never going to touch that again.
Right.
And then that's pretty much what happened that night. And so that's hey, what do you guys think about doing a commercial? And it actually aired yesterday, which was phenomenal, off of my TV 20. It looked great. Like I said, I shot you it out back and said, yeah, it just aired. My phone just blew up. So yeah.
It was exciting, and my sister said, wow, you guys actually made XICW look beautiful. But Danny,
you're the ones.
Danny was actually the one behind the keys editing that thing. I was kind of cheering him on, but Danny was hitting the keys there.
Oh, it looked phenomenal. It really, really did. I mean, it was outstanding. So I mean, so what? I guess what are you guys looking to do? So you're off on your own, doing your own thing. What sort of clients are you looking for? What sort of, what kind of gigs are you looking for? Or what are you looking to get involved with? I mean, obviously the film industry isn't exactly what it was here a year ago or so. So are you just looking to stay indie and kind of do your own thing, working with companies on their own thing, or what's the scoop?
So far we do dig the indie thing. A lot of what we've been doing, since, we're in Detroit, we're in the Motor City, we've been doing a lot of auto-related videos, a lot of design-related videos, and everything's for the most part, we've been doing a lot of documentary style, which I think is sort of our niche, but we do more than that.
Yeah, it's more of a run-and-gun style.
So help me understand. So you have an advertising background. You guys were both working together at a I'm assuming some sort of ad agency or design agency, and no longer there, and you're doing your own thing now. You're totally independent. So do you have a business background? Like how does that work? Like are you're relying on your technical expertise to produce what you're really good at, but how are you going about finding clients? Like do you come up against any sort of you guys aren't the agency that of record or whatever the company is used to using.
Well,
how do you fight that?
Since we've gone off on our own, it's funny because we really haven't had time to develop any way of reaching out, but just through word of mouth, we've been getting, enough.
So people
work
are familiar with you guys personally and what you guys are capable of doing.
Jim, mostly because you have an advertising, background and have connections, and I think that's the most important thing.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
Well, networking 101.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And we've been fortunate enough to work with a lot of good clients that have been helpful, reaching out and hey Jim, I gave your name to somebody else. Hey Danny, I gave your name to somebody else. And I mean, everyone's been great. It's just a good feeling to hey, so and so gave me your phone number, and I just looked at your reel. Can you do this? Can you do that? And it's amazing. It's like opening. It's like Christmas morning. Open up your email. Oh look, so and so wants us to do a video. Let's do it.
Well, I mean, we were joking on break. It's like the cobbler's son has no shoes. Like you were joking, you don't even have a website for your business yet.
It's totally true.
You don't have enough time to do that.
And not only that, my wife every day is, why don't you take some video of the kids? Why don't you, can I please put the camera?
Can you take a picture of me, please?
Yeah, plumber's house, leaky pipes. Yeah,
exactly.
But I mean, and the other thing that I think that guides me and Danny is just to have fun. I mean, you work with people that we're off to work with, and there's some of that, but our goal is always just to have fun, and I think our clients see that, and I think they're having fun, we're having fun, and it shows in the work. I mean, it really shows in the work. We hire people that we like to work with.
Yep.
And
well, yeah, because I mean, you guys walked into a fairly skeptical, I don't know that I would call it, professional friendly environment there at the Ritz, and you guys, hung around backstage. You talked with all the guys, got a lot of good feedback. It shows. I mean, you guys are passionate about what you do, and it comes through.
Good. Yeah, I mean that's how we feel. I mean, when we walk into these situations, it's always like, me and Danny talking like. I don't necessarily want to be a wrestler, but I don't mind hanging out with these guys on the weekend, and then we go home and and relax on the
Yeah, exactly. Get a couple of good stories. Well, and it's funny because we've got
like honey,
right? Exactly. Yeah, so we've got a buddy of ours, Jeremiah, that he's with HellYeahDetroit.com, and he wants to get a couple of his cub reporters in to Truth Martini runs a wrestling school, and he wants to get them basically put through an entire day of hell at the wrestling school.
Camp.
Oh yeah.
How old are they?
They're like early 20s. Okay. So yeah, they'll have a good time with it, but it'll still destroy them. That's the one. It's the one thing I've learned about these guys is it may be scripted, but it is certainly not fake.
Yeah.
They did a. I was telling you about the thing they did at Comic-Con where, Truth did about like an hour and a half seminar. And these, the guys that were doing the backyard wrestling were there, and some of our buddies that were like all into it and in fairly good shape were there. And it destroyed them. Like they thought they were going to die after 20 minutes, and they were like all gung ho, and it was ridiculous. And you start to kind of learn why. And that was really, some of the great stuff about the footage that you guys put together is. What probably one of the best comments I got from the guys as we were shooting around was, "Oh my God, we look like real wrestlers."
We look like real video guys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
nice.
So yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, where's your production studio? Like, are you doing this out of your home? Do you have some sort of office somewhere, co-working? What do you do?
We work out of our homes. Like everything is mobile these days. Where we have laptops and everything. But we also work out of a studio in Sterling Heights. Yep. It's called Bob Williams Studio. He's kind of become a partner of ours.
Is that something that you rent, or how does that work?
Actually, it's kind of a handshake deal. I've been bringing people in to rent the studio for things that we're shooting, and. It's just we're kind of helping each other out. And again, he said, I just like you guys here. It's fun. There's activity. There's things to do. And we're working out of there. It's a great studio. I mean, he's pulling 4 cars in there tomorrow, so it's huge.
Wow.
So it's like a whole soundstage kind of thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, it must be pretty big.
Oh, yeah, it's huge. It's nice. Nice cove. So...
Very cool.
And it's good to be in Detroit and have the ability to put 4 to 6 cars in your studio.
I'm sure that makes photo shoots and that kind of stuff a little bit easier.
Outside of the elements.
Hey, we're talking about bringing the wrestlers in there. That's where we're going to bring the guys. So.
Yeah, looking to bring them out there on Friday. That should be really cool. Yeah. So what's next? I mean, are you guys looking to I know a friend of a friend was saying something about I think our company wants to shoot a Christmas video and that. I mean, is that the kind of stuff you're looking to get into, or would that be the necessary evil that pays the bills to let you do the stuff you want to do?
Can we get them to do this is IT and the D, this is what we do?
We need to talk during a break.
Yes, that sounds all right. And the holiday thing might be, it pays the bills. That's good. But I think the one thing that we decided we're not going to do anybodybody's wedding.
Nice. Yeah, you don't want to be the wedding videographer. Yeah,
unless my kids are really super skinny and hungry.
You're living in a tent somewhere.
Yeah, we'll do a wedding.
Yeah, right.
But other than that, I mean, it's pretty open. I mean, like we said, as long as we're having fun, it's fun. If it's a good idea, it's a good holiday video, something like that, I think we'd be cool to do. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I mean, and there is still a lot of stuff going on out here. I mean, do you guys pick up, spec work or anything like that when, when there is
no spec
work. I mean, or, just, or crew work, when there is, Transformers 4, filmed here, at the Russell, and there was stuff going on. I mean, do you guys I have no idea how that industry works. I mean, do you guys get hooked
neither
into
do
that?
I. That's a totally different industry, but yeah.
Well, but do you catch wind of that? I mean, is there a industry network that? I
mean, I have friends that do work for big productions like that, and it's a totally different game, basically. Right. Usually, those guys are all kind of their own network, and then, we're more of just a freelance group that we're not going to be shooting Transformers.
Right.
What I'm going to be doing is, I'm going to be handing out, papers and copying things and getting lunches.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Here's your donuts, sir.
Yeah, right.
So I think that's the thing. Like, we'd rather shoot a holiday party than take out the garbage for the Transformer guys.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So, and like, because one of the things I saw is, there are those still, even though it's not as big out here now, there's a lot of, like film competitions and, like little, like short film segment, kind of competitions that are coming around. Like, I know the Michigan, the Michigan beer film, premieres, Thursday night over at the Fillmore. There's a lot of little stuff like that going on. So you were saying like documentaries, is that the kind of thing you're looking to hook into and maybe do and make a run at?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of, in the back of our head, we haven't really talked about this out loud, but the XICW thing, like, that could turn into something. And we're that's why we're shooting the guys at the studio and everything like that, to see if this could be something more. Mm-hmm. That's a great possibility. We have some connections with documentary filmmakers and distributors. Yep. And, we were kind of hoping to shoot something, put together a teaser, and see if maybe we can get somebody to
see if there's a bite. Yep.
Yeah. I'm also, I have this pet project for the last, 3 years. But I've been doing a documentary about a Rocky Balboa impersonator. Okay. His name is Mike Kunda. He lives in Philadelphia. So that's pretty much shot. And since, Danny and I are on our own, in between jobs, we've been starting to edit this thing. And it's everyone's staring at me.
So if this wrestling thing becomes a good thing, so how does that scale? So it's just you guys, right? Just the two of you.
Yep.
Like in the web design industry, like in our world, a project could be 1 week, 1 day, or it could be 3 months or 6 months, depending on size, scope, whatever. So how does that translate to your industry in your world for a typical, like the thing you did for the wrestling thing? That was a 30-second spot, right? You were at the event.
Yep.
Took a bunch of B-roll. You were there for the whole event, probably. And how long did it take you guys, start to finish? So is that a typical project? Is that, a week's worth of work? Or
you guys had 2 days worth of filming, and then we met, and then 2 days later, after we met, you hit me with the rough edit, and I was like, holy crap, that.
Right. So, but you were, is that something that is common, or is that like, you're like, we're just going to hammer this out?
That was pretty lucky because Danny actually was doing some work in between. Go ahead and,
Yeah, well, I was doing work in between that, and then whenever I could, I would just start collecting wrestling footage because it was more of a passion project,
Got it.
And so I thought, I'm going to find a good Mozart track, I'm going to put wrestling to it, and I got to, find the best clips.
It's like Sheldon.
So
I'm in the zone.
Right,
don't bother.
Yeah, right.
He had a hoodie on.
Yeah, right.
Hunched over the keyboard.
Yeah, he's plugged in.
Mm-hmm.
Flash t-shirt, no hoodie,
right.
yeah.
So when you brought up I think when Dave brought up doing the spot, we kind of looked at each other, and I already knew, like, oh, Danny's going to crank this out overnight. I thought for sure he was going to go home that night and finish.
Yeah, right.
But getting back to, but how does that scale then? So, like, if you had, 5 different, companies saying, hey, I need this by such and such, or, if the wrestling thing turns into a gig, and they're like, well, we need 5 of these commercials by Friday, or like, how does that work?
You go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, Danny and I we've been working pretty closely, and I think it's Bob at the studio kind of says, like, we share a brain. So I think, like, what would happen is we'd probably bring in freelancers, and Danny and I would kind of oversee it. Right?
Yeah, right. If we needed more time, more people, then we would just reach out and connect with others,
and kind of take maybe not have our hands on the keys, but kind of step back and look at cuts and work on more than one thing at a time.
Gotcha.
Well, and that's kind of the same thing you were talking about with getting Agile and Beyond off the ground, because we know
Conference 101.
Yeah, what an
not such an easy thing to do.
Yeah, what an enormous undertaking it can be. It does come down to, once you hit that kind of critical mass point where it's too big for one person or 2 people or 3 people to run, you have to be okay with delegation and finding the right people and finding the right crews to take care of things for you.
Oh, yeah, that's an art. But you've got to find people that are just as passionate as you are, right? That's the key thing right there, because if you don't find someone who has the same passion, they're going to go off and do something, because you want them to be able to go off and do it autonomously.
Yeah, you want to give them the freedom to a point, right? Right.
Exactly, but you've also got to have some kind of trust that they're going to do what you've got. Generally, they're going to do what you've got in mind, right? So I think that's the same thing that you guys are trying to do, right?
Absolutely. You just said it better than I did. No, absolutely, and that's the key. Yep.
So I guess as how long have you been trying to get this off the ground now? How long have you been running with this?
I think it's been, what, 6 months?
Yeah, about 6 months.
Yeah.
So, like, best and worst experience so far. I mean, I guess that's, kind of the standard Pat question.
Let's see. Best experience. God, I mean, all of them have been great. Everything's been really good so far. I think, we've been steady. We've been super busy. We had great clients, and I think I was like we had about 6 months. We were busy nonstop. I was looking forward to a week off, and we kind of had like a slow week, and that was probably the worst experience.
Just not knowing what to do. Right.
Yeah. So,
what do you mean I'm not slammed busy today? I don't have 19 hours in the back row.
All of a sudden, your wife's got a to-do list for you.
Yeah, right.
More videos of the kids.
I want. Yeah, I wanted like a week off, and a day was enough. So that was
have you set up for the Thanksgiving shoot yet?
Yeah, for 2014.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we have a lot of things cooking and hopefully coming up. So we're staying really busy with the docs and we just heard from a couple guys this morning about shooting some outdoor style videos and hunting and fishing and that kind of thing. So
yeah, and I think it's just the freedom of it. Like when we were working at a place where we didn't dictate what we were shooting, it's a totally different experience than going out there and meeting someone who's really interesting, and then it becomes a passion project, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's the big difference where there hasn't been any lows because it's just been all passion
very,
projects,
very
or how can we turn this,
you're
even
working
if it's
on
a
what
subject,
you want to work on.
Yeah, and even if it's a subject that we don't want to work on, how do we turn it into something that, we could be proud of and that, we can make it interesting for ourselves,
Well, and that happens, I think, even as a developer, when it comes to, when you're writing code to spec, that's probably like
you're a technician at that point.
Yeah, exactly. You're bored and you do what you need to do to get it done, and then you move on. As opposed to, writing your own code for your own project, your own app, your own whatever. It doesn't matter that it's 4:00 in the morning.
Right.
There's one more pass you can make to make sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the money's going to be nice. Obviously, I want to make money in the project, but am I going to be proud to have this on my portfolio? That's just as important.
Well, whether it's the Rocky Balboa impersonator or it's the short video that you did on wrestling, you're trying to tell some story, right? There's a creativity to that.
Exactly. Yep.
And the other thing too, I think, is we don't know where this is heading exactly, and that's kind of cool. Where at an agency or wherever you're working, you kind of know like, the auto show is coming next year. We have to shoot the auto show, and then it's the next auto.
Yeah, exactly.
Show.
Here's the shoot calendar. Here's the
right, and then you're 60,
and then that goes back to what you were saying, Dave, about you got stuff that you've got to do, right? You got stuff that fills it in, right? But then you can do the things that you're passionate about. You got to pay the bills somehow, right?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, hopefully not through wedding videos.
Right.
Is the message I heard here. So how do people find you? I mean, if they want to talk to you about shooting a project for them, how do they get a hold of you? Where do they look up what you've done?
Well, I think the easiest right now, unfortunately, is just go to Vimeo, search Jim Toscano, which is my name, or
Danny Giannino,
and our Vimeo. We both have each other's work on there, and it's kind of our most recent work that we're very proud of.
Well, and we'll throw a link out in our recap tomorrow and make sure that gets out there as well.
Yeah. And Toscano Media is on Facebook. It's not that active, but Vimeo is the best place to go right now.
See, now if you were smart, you would just take ToscanoMedia.com and point it to your Vimeo.
I know.
That's CO.
Yeah. We're very underground, right? Yeah, very
this
underground.
Is indie.
Yeah.
We don't want anybody judging us.
Right,
this is the underground of the indie.
Yeah.
You can buy our VHS tapes.
Right. Yeah.
And now they're hipsters, great. So I mean, what's on deck for the rest of the year? I mean, is there anything that's like kind of out there that you're really excited about for the last couple months of the year? Or
well, honestly, I think the Rocky Balboa thing, it's been on the shelf for so long that now we're finally able to edit it. And
which I will guarantee you right now, Bob is in a hotel room or a hotel bar right now screaming while he's listening to this, going, "Why am I not there to talk about this?"
I hope there's a lot of.
And right now he's laughing at you.
Right. So for me, that's the project I'm most looking forward to. What about you, Danny?
I've got a couple abstract bar mitzvah videos that I'm looking forward to producing. So.
Abstract bar mitzvah videos.
I'm kidding.
I was going to say that sounds like a standard line you're going to throw out there.
Yeah. With a Catholic slant.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. So we'll get the link out there to Vimeo to get you guys out there and showcase a little bit more, and we'll come back and we'll talk with Tom and Sherry, talking about Agile and Beyond and photography and all that fun stuff. We'll be back in just a minute.
This is IT in the D. We'll be right back.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why.
All right, well, we are back here with IT in the D, brought to you by DetroitNet.org here at Raw Radio X in Russell Industrial Center.
Welcome.
Exactly. Good evening.
Yeah.
That was last week.
Oh, sorry. Day late and $1 short.
Still stuck in a rut. All right, so
PBR. Yeah, that's right. Oh, you need one.
Yes, sir. We have those.
All right.
So
one thing we do have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we like a well-oiled machine, I tell you. So we are still sitting here with Tom and
Excellent.
Sherry, and so Tom, let's talk a little bit about Agile and Beyond.
Agile and Beyond.
Agile. Oh, sorry, Agile.
That's okay.
Not Agile.
People say that.
It's all about the syllable
no,
emphasis.
It's,
I did it right.
We all have peccadillos. That's one of mine. Yeah.
So it's February 22nd.
Yes, it is. Adobe Hotel, Dearborn.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what is it? What's the scoop? Like why? So, we always try to have, it is IT in the D. We try to have at least a little bit of an IT focus.
Let's bring it right back.
What is Agile and Beyond and why do people want to know about it and go to it?
Agile and Beyond is a conference that Marvin Toll started, I don't know, like 5 or 6 years ago, I guess. He was really interested in Agile and what we could do in this region. Well, I don't want to speak for him. I don't know what he put together a great group of people to really try and see where should we go with Agile. I think part of the theme at the time was people are really interested in what's next, what's different than Agile, because we've kind of been doing that for about 10 years, 12 years now.
Okay.
What's the next thing in IT that's going to help us get to the next level? How do we help businesses gain a competitive advantage? And that was it. That was the whole Beyond thing.
So, and that was I guess that's a good point. So, we did talk about the whole Agile versus Waterfall back in episode 5 when we had, Chris and H-Bomb in here.
Yep. Shout out to Martello.
Right, exactly. So, so for people that don't know, what Agile development is versus other traditional methodologies, like why should they care?
Yeah, why
what's the
Agile?
scoop?
Wow, that's a really big question. So
there's a quiz in 10 minutes. Go.
There's a significant challenge to trying to do things in such a way that it's predictable, that you know that you're going to get the results that you want. And part of the challenge is that to get that predictability, it costs a fortune, right? It costs all kinds of overhead. And to try and get things as lean as possible so that you can get what a customer really wants in front of them so that they can validate it's what I really want, it's really what I need, and it's what I'm willing to pay for. It's the most valuable stuff. And it's as good as you can get it, as early as you can get it. That's really what Agile is trying to do. And it's more than just doing that. It's also how you do it. So the teams that do Agile are really zeroed in on how do we do things better all the time? How do we learn? How do we get better all the time?
Okay. So, what do we break and how do we not break that next time? That kind of thing.
Well, how do we prevent it from getting broken in the first place?
Right.
So, but that's a big deal, right? There's so I'm a QA guy, and there's a history in IT. I've been in IT for about 30 years. I don't know how
We
long you
don't
guys have
break
been
anything in IT.
So there's a
No.
history.
The developers are perfect. Chris knows this.
Not doing this well.
QA, where's Bob and his Crickets app? You should be calling in with that right
that's
now.
right. Yeah, I need to be queuing that up right now. Martello, you should have warned me.
We've got a history though, right? Of not doing IT really that well, right?
Absolutely.
So
it's traditionally duct tape. It's you do what you have to do to get it out the door, and we'll fix it in a future release.
Yep. Or someone else will fix it in a future release, right? Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. The poor bastards that come after us can worry about.
Yeah. Because I'm off to the next new great project. Yeah. Right. Yes. So there's a history of that. Yeah. You got to have.
There we go.
Yeah. Well, I'm used to that when I talk. So there's a history of that, and Agile is about turning that around. Agile is really about excellence. If you pick one word, it's about excellence, but it's also about getting better all the time because that's where the competitive advantage is. The thing was, like in the 80s, there were methodologies.
Right.
And that's why when you said Agile, and I hear big A, Agile methodology, and there's, I'm throwing around air quotes like they're free here. There's
no webcam in here, by the way.
As far as Sherry knows.
That's right. Oh,
She's taking pictures, yeah.
there's no agile methodology, right? There's being agile. It's a way of being. It's not a step, step by step by step. It's not that at all.
It's very true, and I mean, and that's actually one of the things we talked about during the 5th episode was, when somebody asked me, or we get into a conversation, well, which agile methodology do you use? The answer is, well, all of them. It's there is no one way of doing things because you cherry pick that which makes sense for the project that you're on at the time.
That's it.
And you move on.
Yes. Well, you don't move on. You keep learning, right? Yeah. Well, I don't know. Everybody does it differently, and that's okay, right? That's the thing. It needs to be okay to do it differently every time. But you've got to learn every time as well. So, and that's really what it's about. So coming together for Agile and Beyond is about learning, going out with people who are really as passionate about it as you are, trying to get better, and trying to say, okay, what's the way that we did it before sucked? How do we not suck? That's really what it's about.
We never go suck less.
Right. We don't go for perfect. We go for suck less. That's all
That's all we're after, right? That's all. And that's the thing is continually suck less.
Okay, so this is a conference about sucking less.
Yes, it is. It is.
And it's February 22nd out in Dearborn. So what, and the reason why we hooked up is you had posted something about a call for speakers closing here shortly.
I did, yeah. So,
and so what sort of speakers are you looking for? Like what as a... who should be submitting a speaker bio or presentation?
So those people that are passionate about doing IT better. Now, that makes it pretty broad, right?
True.
And I think it should be broad because the audience is product owners, delivery leads, project managers, developers, architects, business analysts, systems analysts, quality people. So the audience is so broad, and the spectrum of skill is so wide, right? We've got people that are brand new to it. They've just learned about it, which blows me away, right? 10, 12 years of Agile being around and having people that are brand new to it. Well, guess what? Somebody's got to say, I've been to the bottom of the Grand Canyon. I know how to get there and get back safely. Let me show you the way. So those people who know how, people who have been there, who have done it, who are experienced and are passionate, those are the people that we're asking, submit a talk. Tell us what you think we need to do next, because the beyond part is more important than the quote Agile part.
So what is that beyond part then? So if it's talking about your past experiences and your past what you've dealt with on projects and that kind of stuff, where does the beyond come in and what's there?
Well, yeah, my question related to that. My question is who's vetting the speaker proposals? Like
well, I vet them all. No, I'm just kidding.
He's the authority. Yeah, come to me, speakers.
Well, the people that have been on the conference in the past have also been people who have volunteered.
Okay.
To it's a grassroots thing. So it's Agile and Beyond, all one word, as if you could make that one word. .org. So we're a nonprofit, agileandbeyond.org, and all the people that do it are really grassroots people who volunteer.
Sounds like WordCamp, where everything's grassroots and it's people can call BS on someone who's trying to snow them on a subject.
Well, and the people that we have volunteering are the people who are really good at calling BS.
Right, right.
I suddenly want to be a volunteer.
No one would be a speaker.
Well, and I guess that kind of gets into the follow-up question that I had there is that if I'm a person who goes to Agile and Beyond, what should I expect to be seeing from speakers? Like what, or more to the point, why do I want to buy a ticket and go?
There are a couple of things. So yes, granted, you're going to have sessions. We're going to have a great keynote speaker. We always have a great keynote speaker. I've got like a list of them that we've had for years. And you're also going to have sessions that you can choose from, right? So you'll have we'll have different sessions all throughout the whole day, and you can choose each of the different sessions that you want to go to. Whatever you want to see, you'll probably be able to find a session that you want to see.
So is it
important also is all the people that are going to be there are going to be the same people that are really passionate. I mean, they're going there on a Saturday. It's their Saturday, right?
Right.
Yeah.
These people, the speakers, as well as the people that are there, are the people that are going to be leaders in IT. Those are the people that are out there they're pushing the edge of the envelope. They're the people that are saying, yeah, I understand there are best practices, but I think there are better best practices. Right? And I'm one of the people that wants to try and invent that. And they want to do it collaboratively. And when a speaker is done, they're not done. They're staying at the conference. They're going to the different sessions, and they're there available to talk. This has happened every year.
That's where the networking happens. That's where the connections are made.
Massive amount of networking. Yep.
A lot of people go there that don't even go to the talks. They just want to talk to people in the halls and get that connection.
There are an awful lot of people like that, but almost everyone, I mean, when the sessions start, the hall's clear. I do the open spaces sessions a lot of times, and so that's all the people that are trying to really invent something new and different. Like, the people that are really on the edge of the envelope, they go to open spaces and they find a group of people that are like them, and they kick ideas around. They try and invent real time at the conference, right? Here's what I've been working on this year, and there's you see a lot of the same people.
Yeah,
a lot of times, Now, granted, we have it's 700 people, right? We've started out, we got like 500 people when we first started. We're up to 700. I don't know if we're gonna
Is there a cap? Is there a
Well, the Adobas, it's about 700. I think that's all we can get, and we've sold out, right, year after year after year. So
and
you want to get the early birds.
So, and are tickets on sale now?
Tickets are on sale. You know what? I'm pretty sure tickets are on sale. If you go on the website, I believe the tickets are on sale. agileandbeyond.org. Yeah.
Okay. And I guess that what I was saying is it kind of like like Code Mash and a lot of the other conferences that you see out there where
you see a lot of the same people.
Well,
that's
yes,
sure,
it's and that was part of what we had talked about, back at the bar, and we'll get to that in a sec. Where
we talked about back at the bar.
Yeah, well, the whole thing about why it fills up and why because it's those speakers that you get here that if you're going to go see them someplace else, it's going to cost you thousands of dollars at that conference.
Yeah,
but
right.
Is it when you're running these separate tracks and these separate sessions, do they fill up and people? I can't go to that one. I've got to go to something else.
The Adoba is really good. It's a great venue for this, and so the rooms that we get for the Adoba are they're really big. I mean, we can get as many as and ahead of time we try and figure out how many people are going to go to the different sessions, and we set the scale of the rooms based on the different sessions type.
Makes sense.
I haven't really seen any room that was so full that no one could go in, because there's always room to get more people in for the stuff.
Is the day itself fluid like that, or do you actually have, when people buy a ticket, are they saying, I want to go to this, and this session, or is it just a ticket and they
No, it's really fluid. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Now, the keynote, of course, everybody's in one big auditorium. Well,
sure.
It's not an auditorium. I don't know what you call it, but it's
big room.
It's
Big
the big room.
room.
Yeah, it's the big room.
Right.
The banquet room.
Right.
It's the banquet room. And then after that, everybody breaks up into the smaller rooms for the other sessions.
So you're playing traffic cop, making sure that there's a speaker in one room there's like 10 people in it, and there's another one's got 500 people in it.
It's divided up pretty well. I mean, the sessions are attended really well, and
people are making their selections ahead of time. Yes, which kind of helps you gauge that going in.
Well, that's what I was asking. Like the day of is actually kind of very fluid, where people they're bouncing around from room to room.
Yeah, I mean, if we nailed everybody down and said, you can't go to anything else, it would be called static, not Agile.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense. Well, yeah.
There's a bell.
Right. No, and I get it. I mean, we tried to started hammering through this stuff on our own, and it's chaos to try to figure that out. So, kudos to you guys. How many people are volunteers? You had said you were on a call before you came out and met us. How many people are engaged with this?
Actually, we have a call on Monday nights, and right now we've got over like 10 people. I think there were 10 people on the call tonight. So it's really great, because the people that are volunteering, they take ownership. Like, we just carve off a piece, they take ownership of it, and all we do is get back together on Monday night and say, okay, where are we with that? And then they talk about, here's what I did all during the week, and for me, I'm just I'm going down my list of who's taking care of what, and then I ask them, so what are you doing? And Agile's funny that way also, because in the team rooms, people self-organize as well, right? So the way that we're kind of running the conference is the way Agile runs as well. So it's self-organizing teams.
One would hope so.
Eat your own dog food, right? That's what they say, eat your own dog food. Self-organizing teams, great people, very passionate. They take ownership of stuff, and all we have to do is just check in and say, hey, what can I do to help? What can I do to help? That's really all I do.
So I guess, what sort of, have you already made the determination on some of the speakers that'll be there this year? Do you know?
Yeah, is there a theme each year?
Yeah.
This year, the only one that we've made confirmed is is the keynote speaker, Joshua.
Wow, you brought more notes than I did.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good.
I didn't do these though. So somebody else did these. So somebody did these for me. That's the thing. So it's real.
That's
really
what it is. We need a secretary or admin assistant.
We need interns.
Interns. That's what it is. Yeah. Trying to be politically correct.
So
I'm sorry.
I got a lot of great help.
So the keynote is going to be
for him. He is doing a keynote on faster processes for producing lean software development, extreme and lean.
Okay.
And now we have so we have almost I think 24 other slots for other, but those speakers haven't been chosen yet.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So that's the whole submission process, and you said there was some sort of voting that went on, that everybody kind of gets together and the organizing team votes, or all the potential attendees vote, or how does that work?
Well, a subset of the organizing team volunteers to go through all of them, and there's a lot of them, right? So we have to go through all of them, and then we look at the different the themes, like you were saying, there are different themes. We say for a particular theme, what are the ones that will fit in that theme?
Yep.
And then when we start going through each of the different themes. It's tough to drink beer here and do this, right?
Do you need another one?
When you go through the different themes, then we start to say which are the best ones for that, and then we try and map out the whole day that way.
Right. I mean, you start kind of breaking things naturally into tracks, and then figuring out who's going to fit in those tracks, and then what okay, we have 13 people that want to give a talk about X. Okay, well, we only need 4.
That never happens.
Yeah,
really?
No. You'd be surprised. Like when I remember,
the diversity is incredible. Yeah, and people have such interesting ideas.
Right.
The things that they present. Like I said, the people that are presenting, the speakers, these are the folks that are on the edge of the envelope saying, best practice my butt. I'm going to invent something really cool, right? These are the folks that are really pushing the edge of the envelope. And it's really interesting. I mean, I love to go from each of the different sessions and listen to the folks. It really is awesome.
And how long is each session? Is it, or does it vary by the talk or subject or whatever?
It does vary by talk or subject. Okay. Mostly they're 45 minutes. A lot of them are 90 minutes. Yep.
Okay. So it's a full,
I was going to say, an hour and a half. That's a heck of a talk.
That probably includes QA as well.
I would assume so. Yeah.
So I can read you a few of them.
By all means, go.
Okay,
yeah.
So let's see here. These are some that we have done in the past. Myth busting, coaching, and mentoring by Tricia Broderick. Slaying the Myths of Agile by Daniel Davis. Living as a Highway, Find the Fast Lane. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I knew that was coming.
Yeah,
I got through 3 of them.
He didn't even get to QA. So, I mean, you 24 to 30 slots. So if they're 45 to 90 minutes each, so you're running what? 4 to 6 parallel tracks at any point in time?
So last year, I think we had 6 or 7. Yeah. So I mean,
that's a one-day conference.
It's a one-day conference. Yeah,
all day.
We pack a boatload into it, and then at the end of the day, we have a nice afterglow or after explosion, as I think it's going to be called this year.
So, and that was the next question. So you've got you'd mentioned you've got sponsors lined up. So I mean, who's queued up behind this? Are you still looking for sponsors?
Sure. Well, no, we're not.
No, please, please don't give us any money.
Yeah, we do not want any money. Tell you, if you want to send it our way, that'd be fine.
Go to agileandbeyond.org and look at the sponsorship packages right now. I believe the sponsors we have are IBM, Rally.
Really?
Yes. Oh no, we've got some really great sponsors.
That's
our new tagline. The great thing about having all this is that you've got everything, but then you have to find it, right?
But you've got 4 sheets that aren't very agile.
This is the opposite of agile. Yes, this is definitely the opposite of agile.
No, so I mean, it all day, and is it the kind of thing where and you had said it's $99 on the early bird pricing?
It is.
Is it the
it's
kind
actually
of
pretty cheap for a conference of this magnitude? I mean, that's nothing.
It is. It's so we went to add
typical conferences that I hear about that are all day or even 2-day events that are this caliber are hundreds of dollars, if not thousands.
No. That's what we were talking about. It's easily $800, $900, $1,000, $1,200. Yeah.
Oh exactly. Yeah. We went through it, and just to see the speakers. I mean, if you try to go around the country and see the speakers that come to this conference, it costs you into the thousands easily. And for $99 for
is there some sort of parent organization or national organization that caps you, or is that just a number number that you guys picked, or how does that?
$99?
Yeah,
we're totally nonprofit.
Marvin was a huge fan of 99 red balloons, and that's
Get out. just get out.
It's all we're trying to do is break even, right? We're trying to take care of the people that come out when they travel, take care of them,
right?
But we're really just trying to get the hotel, get people together, get through the year, and break even. And that's the grass. I mean, we're trying to make this something that is accessible for anyone, right?
Is the organization itself a 501c?
It is not.
Interesting.
It is not. But, I mean, we're looking at what it would take to do that. Now, even as a 501c...
So you're an operational nonprofit, not necessarily a logistical nonprofit.
Right.
Yeah, because we're going through those headaches, and is it fun?
It's a challenge, right?
Yeah. It's a barrel full of monkeys.
And it's time consuming, right? And right now, we're trying to spend all of our time getting
it's been going on, a year and a half for us?
Yeah. Let's see. We initially filed the LLC paperwork in November.
Has it only been that?
And the 501c3 paperwork in either December or January. I'd have to go back and look.
Seems like 7 years.
I know exactly. No, so yeah, no, it's a logistical nightmare.
It is, yeah.
So I mean, to some degree, I don't blame you for staying away from it. So it's all. So is it a? Do I get lunch if I go? Do I get?
You get nothing and like it.
Well, the Adobe Hotel is a green
I
hotel.
want a hot dog. I want
So
a
you're not going to
hamburger.
have bottled water. That's one thing, right?
Can we get PBR?
We're going to have you can have a PBR. You're just going to have to hide it from me.
You know what? I have a flask. That'll get me through one session.
Get you lunch. You get lunch. Yeah, we have lunch.
Okay. And I assume basically, captive audience. So you want to keep everybody on site all day, and you said there's going to be an after party. What's
there is an after party, so that's to attract you to stay. But I'm not going to try and shut the doors or anything. It's called Agile, right? So
right.
You
is it actually at the hotel, or is it somewhere else?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have the hotel. Really, I mean, we almost take at least all the rooms for banquets, etc. We take all those over. Yeah.
Nice.
They have us just kind of march from the big banquet room to the other rooms and.
Right, exactly. Everybody file out, split up, separate, go to your various rooms.
All the Agile geeks go this way.
Yes.
or the Agile geeks for that that speaker go that way. Right. You go that way. You go that way.
The parade of Agile. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So so at this point, so here we are. First week of November. You're looking at something that's 3.5 months out.
Yes.
You said that it sells out. So, like, when, other than, okay, do it now, because that's what you're going to say. When should people be looking to buy tickets? When is a good time to make sure that you're locked in?
I highly recommend this year that you get on the early bird because the prices are going to go up. In December, they go up to $129. In January, $139, I believe.
And you can't buy them at the door, obviously, because you're selling out.
They'll be gone. Yeah. So I really it behooves you if you're going to go to get in and get your $99 ticket. Yep.
Very cool.
Okay, and that's agileandbeyond.org.
Agileandbeyond.org.
And .org. That's what I said.
Yeah. Yes, I know.
I'm old. Likes how ORG sounds.
Oh, sure.
It makes me want to giggle a little bit every time he says it.
Oh, sure, he is awake. I just want to make sure. Yeah, I was about to throw a can of PBR your way.
I'm listening, and I'm listening very intently, but my mind keeps wandering to the
ORG. That happens usually when I talk. Yeah.
Nice. All right, so we are
in a break yet.
We actually are. So we'll take a break. We'll be back in about 7 minutes.
Yay.
I don't really like my friends.
Yeah, I don't really like your friends either.
No, forget the glass, Woodhouse. Just give me the pitcher. For I am a sinner in the hands of an angry God. Bloody Mary, full of vodka, blessed are you among cocktails. Pray for me now, and at the hour of my death, which I hope is soon. Amen.
Oh God, that was Archer. I love Archer.
I keep asking, do you need a beer? Do you need a beer? And you're
yes,
like,
actually. Sorry, I was focusing on Archer. It's
Yes,
it's my new South Park. It's
I
my
said
new
beer.
obsession.
You thought Archer,
right? So here we are back at the IT and the D show, brought to you by
radio.
DetroitNet.org. Yeah, we're not as coherent without Bob here. I've noticed that. he's the one that gets us out of the breaks adequately. So
dead air. Get back in here.
Exactly, you idiot. Hey, I haven't done that tonight. Give me credit. So we are still sitting here with Tom, who we just got done yakking about Agile and Beyond, and we are going to go ahead and dragging, kicking, and screaming. Sherry, are you having it?
She's having microphone issues.
You can't use two sets of headphones at the same time, dear.
Oh, well, what's funny about what's happening to me right now is pretty typical of what happens to me always. Everything is going very, very smoothly.
Do you want to hop over to another seat?
I was going to say, you might want to just come over here.
Over there.
All right, I'll
You'll
go
be
ahead.
fine.
Yeah, exactly. I'll go ahead and yak for a second.
Yeah,
So Sherry,
can you do like the Jeopardy theme?
Yeah,
for a
exactly.
second?
No, so Sherry, those of you who have been to our Pink Slip parties this year, the one either on 313 or on 919, would recognize Sherry. She was the one who took the awesome photographs
All
that we
the
have,
awesome pictures,
out on our Facebook page.
That would be her.
Yep. And I mean, they were phenomenal. And you were, you're running your own photography biz and doing your own thing. And I was all set to pimp and promote your website. And then at the bar, you unveil on us that you don't want to play that anymore.
Not so much.
No, I don't want to play the day job anymore. The photography I still want to play.
Oh, well, then we can still talk about BlueArgyleMedia.com.
Blue Argyle.
Yeah.
What's that name come from? What's the scoop?
You stole my question.
That's what I'm here for.
Okay, well, I was looking for a very, I'm a girl, so I've got to do this, the way a girl does it. I had to think of
complicated,
a name that was very, yes, very complicated. I had to dig deep into my soul and find something that was very meaningful to me. And I also kind of wanted to name something after my dad, because he's got a bunch of daughters. And so, just a namesake of some kind. And there was this blue Argyle wool sweater that we used to steal from his closet all the time. I don't know whatever happened to it, but my sisters and I were always fighting over that. And we scored when we opened my dad's closet and it was still in there. So that's how I came up with the name Blue Argyle. And originally it was just blueargyle.com, which was my very, I don't want to say my very first business, but it was my first e-business, and it was blueargyle.com. And then I started getting into the photography and web design, and so it became Blue Argyle Media.
That's very cool.
And so what? So it's a business. What do you do through Blue Argyle? I mean, obviously you do photography, and that sort of thing. I mean, and you took phenomenal photos of our two events. What should people be coming to you for? I guess that's the entire point of having you in here was to pimp you out a little bit.
More photos.
But not web design.
Well, I am keeping my current clients, if any of you happen to be listening.
I'm not cutting and running completely.
I have not made any kind of announcement, but I don't think I'm going to be taking any more web design clients. I'd like to focus mostly on the creative side of things, with the photography. And why are you laughing?
Because Bob's being a smartass on Twitter.
Yeah.
That's
just ignore Bob.
I know.
I was texting him over there when you guys.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, Bob was actually tweeting. Yeah, well, there's QA talk going on. Crickets.
That's why I was doing. That's why I was doing the crickets app. Yeah. No offense to you, Tom.
So anyway, that's what I'm doing. Is more of the photo work, more of the graphic work.
So, are you looking for like session shoots? Are you looking for like events like us? Or like what kind of client are you looking for? I guess is the point. I mean, you have your current clients that you're not dropping and cutting and running from.
Yes.
But I mean, so who do you want to come to you? I mean, because that was part of the conversation we had earlier was you are being kind of the moody, demanding artist, and you're going to do what you want to do, and that's all you're going to do, which also makes you a wife. So,
I admit it.
Oh my!
So what kind of clients are you looking to work with? I guess is that's always the appropriate question.
I would do product photography. It was how I started. It was how I started taking pictures. I had this e-commerce website. I was selling wedding products, and some of them were DIY, and I needed a camera. A good camera to take product photos. And I always said I would never take pictures of people. That's just too much stress. I won't ever do portraits.
Right.
And then the first time I focused on somebody's eyes and got them to drop whatever it is that they have up when they've got a camera in front of them.
Wow, that's a moment, huh?
Yeah, I was absolutely in love with taking pictures of people.
So this is all self-taught. This is something that you are passionate about and dove right in.
Yep, I dove right in, and it became a side job doing portrait photography, and I would like to continue to do more portraits. I would like to always do something different than what I've done before. And so I keep trying to just...
See, you're not that different from any of the rest of us. You're really not. Just want to keep moving on to the next bigger and better thing.
Right. Next bigger and better thing. I really enjoy doing portrait shoots. The one thing I think I don't want to do is wedding photography, and it was kind of funny.
I say it seems to be a common theme because actually I got a text from Jim about 5 minutes ago that said when you do the recap and write-up, please make sure you stress no weddings.
Well, speaking, must be something that comes up a lot. Back and forth when he was saying that because I agree. I had a wedding business, so I'm very familiar with how that.
Well, and don't get me wrong. I was like, I almost killed our wedding photographer. I think it was actually you and Bob had to pull me off of the guy at one point.
No one's happy with their wedding photos. I don't know one bride that's 100% happy with whatever they get from their wedding photographer. That's probably why you avoid them, right?
Yeah, I mean. The pictures always turn out beautiful. I mean,
but there's always something that was missing.
Do we trust a phone call from a 319 area code?
What is 319?
I don't know. Let's give this a shot. Hey, it's the IT and the D show. Who's this?
You're on the air.
No, and they hung up already.
I'm hurt.
So, I mean, speaking of Jim, we were joking before we came on the air tonight. Like, we were all joking in the hallway, and I forget how the conversation came up, but you're like, Canon or Nikon? It was like the Mac or PC.
It's the Ford Chevy debate.
Oh, there's no camera on me. I'm doing my fists up kind of thing. Yeah, it's
So is that like just a preference, like anything else, or is there one that is good for one or the other? Like, I mean, not to get too technical, but we were joking about it earlier. So
well, they're both great. What I have is still a beginner camera, and I'm still doing some really cool stuff with it. But it's a Nikon. I have purchased lenses for it now. I have purchased things that are specific to a Nikon. So once you get into upgrading, you have to keep in mind what you've already invested.
Yeah, like for Christmas, it was either last year or the year before I got my wife one of those really nice camera kits. It was a Canon DSLR, bag. It had the telephoto lens, SD card and all that stuff, and half the features on there she probably hasn't even used yet because it's such an advanced camera, and it's probably a beginner's camera from your point of view. And there's so many, and it's not a point and shoot by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, it really kills me when I see people using those and they have it set on auto.
Right, that's exactly. and it's got other features.
You bought a Ferrari and you got an automatic.
It goes beyond second.
So I try to teach as much as I can, and I start crossing, and I said, just write it down on sticky notes. Put a bunch of sticky notes in your bag.
Right.
That's how I started. But, not everybody's in it to win it, I guess.
So that's the equivalent of, like, standing behind, another web designer. It's like, no, use that brush. Use that.
Yes.
Well, I was going to say, it is kind of the same thing where, the first camera you learn is a lot like the first language you learn as a developer or anything like that. It just it kind of is what it is. So I mean, is that just talking about teaching? Is that something you've thought about maybe diving into giving a photography class or anything like that? Like I know you talked about some rather unique. I believe we refer to it as the family friendly S&M Christmas photos.
I'm really worried about Child Protective Services listening to this right now because I do tie up children for these photo shoots with their parents' consent.
The little lights aren't blinking, Clark. Right.
I would be a horrible teacher. I have very little patience.
Well, that's interesting.
Ask
you were
children.
saying earlier about how you had that moment. I detected the passion when you had that moment when people let their guard down or drop. How did you say it? Where they
just all of a sudden unveil themselves. I don't even know what I said.
Yeah, but
it's getting the subject in comfortable in the shoot, right?
Yeah, I'm not always successful. Sometimes my personality just doesn't gel with.
Well, like with us, it's alcohol.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's why we rely on beer.
Telling me now I should feed these tied up children.
No, that's probably not a good segue.
Well, at least the parents. Yeah, get the parents loaded, and they won't care how the photos turn out. I think where we're going with that. But no, I mean that is a good point. I mean, because and we've talked about it in the context of this show before, because we've had people on the air, in the room with us where. We know them from events, and we know them from hanging out and having conversations. We're like, yeah, that'll be great. We'll have you in. They get here, they get the mic in front of their face, and as soon as the mic hot light gets lit,
should have had the Crickets app going for that one.
They're done. Like they lock up. And they don't know where. Like there is that. They don't know where to go from there.
That was me just about the past hour and a half.
But I mean, it's hard. Sometimes it's. That's why we've joked. God, how many times that the best conversations happen when we're in a break, or
exactly.
or at the bar,
funny, isn't it?
Yeah. But I mean, it's and I'm sure the same thing happens at the conference and everything else. I mean, because it happens at our events. The best things happen
on the way home on the phone.
Yeah, the best things happen off mic there too. It's not necessarily the speaker sessions that you go for; it's the conversations with people outside of the room.
Yeah, that's why I love the open spaces. I mean, we'll get back to talking to that because I'm really interested in what you're saying about getting people to drop their. To open up. That's really interesting to me because when we're in open spaces, the people there they're authentic, they're passionate, they're like bearing their souls. Here's what I'm really trying to do in the world. Is there's help me think about this. And that to me, I love doing the open spaces because that's something that happens there where people. I mean, that's
they get in the zone.
Yeah, they get in the zone and their true selves.
Well, or they're just raw. Like they're like all of the
enthused.
BS.
They're pumped up.
Yeah, you don't get the BS refined sales pitch.
Yeah, the posturing is what goes away.
They check the ego at the door.
Yeah, and it's because they're really interested in what could you do to help me? I've got this wild, crazy ass idea. What could you do to help me?
Yep.
Well, and that's got to be the same thing, from a photo shooter. Just because I know you. I mean, you were all over the place at our events. Whether it was
I was on the ground.
You were. I actually have a great photo of you on your back in front of Cairo.
Yeah, I was going to say Cairo was blowing smoke something.
That was soft.
Note to self: don't wear a skirt at a night.
Exactly.
Now. This is going to sound really,
you had your
really
Marilyn
corny.
Monroe moment?
I did have my Marilyn. Every girl has to have one. This is going to sound really corny. And this is part of why I really enjoy code. I really do enjoy it. Don't get me wrong.
You're a geek at heart.
I am a geek at heart. And I get excited about it. But when I'm driving in the car and I have the stereo on, and I imagine these scenes in my head. I imagine things that I want to draw. I imagine things that I want to photograph. Yes, that's how I'm in a dreamlike state at all times. And some
of the best ideas happen when you're in the shower? Is that the cliche?
Well, yeah,
they come.
Wasn't that the whole joke about her she's her own boss, and so when her boss walked in on her in the shower, it was a horribly awkward moment. But no, I mean that's like the worst. And it's
thanks for calling.
It's a bad. Yeah, exactly. Thanks for calling, Dave. No, but we were talking about the movie Hackers, earlier in the week or yesterday on the Facebook page because it was the 25th anniversary of the Morris worm.
The worm,
and that's the whole Zero Cool. Dade Murphy, that's where that whole character came from. I actually had to because like Anita, my wife, didn't understand. She's like, I don't understand how you can get so wrapped up in what's in front of you on the screen that the entire world doesn't exist around you. No, it just doesn't exist, and it's it
turns into bullet time. Everything's like
literally, the only thing I could come up with is I went and got the movie. I got the Hackers DVD,
right?
Popped it in the DVD player, and there's a scene.
Pulled it up from your entire Blockbuster library you have in the basement.
I've got a few DVDs. But and got to the scene where Johnny Lee Miller, he's sitting there and he's hacking away, and there's code flying off the screen and symbols, and they're moving through the architecture of the system, and I'm like, hun, that's the best way I can explain it. It's that. Mm-hmm. I know it's corny, I know it's lame, but truly is what it is.
It's like a map in your mind, and you're just like cruising through it, and you're
absolutely
channeling through your fingers.
You truly, you get to a point where you can. I guess it is almost Matrixy.
Well, I mean, I was just going to say, if you really want to geek out off the ledge, I mean, that's exactly why the Matrix resonated with so many geeks, is because that's exactly what they were trying to depict, is you are in the zone, you are seeing code within... I don't even know how to describe it beyond that.
Yeah, but it's mind, it's heart.
Yep.
I mean, the whole it's a complete experience. When you're there, you're so engrossed by it that everything else just goes away. Right.
Well, see, and to me, that's how I know when I'm actually interested in something.
Yeah.
When I can get like that about it.
Sure.
Like if I'm distractible. It clearly doesn't matter.
Yep.
Like, I mean, even simple, stupid stuff. Like when I'm sitting down and I've got my headphones on and I've got my laptop and the DJ software open and I'm like, whipping together an opening mix or something stupid like that. Oh yeah, and even then it doesn't. The house could be burning down around me, and I would have no knowledge of it whatsoever.
Do you know how many pots I have ruined boiling water? Please.
How do you ruin a pot boiling water?
Because you leave it on the stove.
You
and
boil it off and it scales.
Literally, the water.
I don't think he really wanted to know how to do that.
I didn't.
I was not aware that was even a possibility.
Pots and pans, because I've been so engrossed in what I was doing creatively that.
Well, yeah, because you're trying to balance, the whole, this whole business thing with being a wife, being a mom, and you've got teenage.
Well, I'll freely admit of being in the zone, coding for hours on end, and actually forgetting to eat. I mean, I think that's typical.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer. Like, that's happened where, and that's why, like when Anita takes off and heads off to her mom and dad's, takes the kids and goes out there to hang out,
and you're still
overnight.
Sitting on the couch like 17 hours later.
Yeah, when
it's
she
like,
gets
honey,
home,
did you actually move?
No. And did you eat anything? No.
You didn't shower.
No, I think I made a pot of coffee at some point, but that's about it.
And you weren't even sure how that happened.
Yeah, there might.
Weren't you talking about having an internet-enabled coffee maker earlier today?
You know what? Like I said, I'm not saying that I'm lazy. I'm just saying that an internet wired coffee pot, oven, and refrigerator and microwave.
But you need a drone actually to get the coffee mug to you.
Oh, dude. Well, see, and again, it's 400 feet in line of sight. I learned a lot about what you're actually allowed to do with drones today while I was doing some homework and research.
Why would I?
400 feet in line of sight, huh?
It is. So you're allowed to operate
the NSA
drones.
is totally all over the show now.
Oh yeah, we're on like 9 different watch lists, and I'm completely comfortable with it.
He added one today with the Child Protective Service.
Oh, exactly. Well, we've got Russ calling. We've got Russ that calls in from Iraq, Afghanistan, Ethiopia. That lands us somewhere. All kinds of good things.
Yep.
But no, so I mean that was part of it. Is so you're allowed to operate. Because I mean you see them, even the little. Like kids' RC helicopters and that kind of stuff. Those quote unquote qualify as drones to some degree. And as long as they only operate within your line of sight, you can do whatever you want with them. So like, I like what I want is the giant airfish. Have you seen those? The air sharks and that
the
kind
air
of stuff?
sharks. You can buy them on ThinkGeek.com.
Oh yeah. I want those and I want that. I want to be able to figure out how to hack that and bring me coffee, and I would be perfectly happy.
Yep. Well, I mean, the big ones that are about the size of this table that you can actually buy actually have a weight displacement where you can actually mount a camera to it and have a little claw in the bottom of it to pick things up and drop it off like a can of beer. That would actually be pretty cool.
Mentioned you have
the
high
TV remote
ceilings,
control.
so-
I do. Got a good. Yeah, I got good 20.
There's actually one feet thing too, because I mean, the higher you go, the more line of sight you got, right?
Exactly.
So,
Well, that's the whole caveat, right? There was one floating around above the Woodward Dream Cruise. We were sitting at Vincetta Garage, and we saw one that was it had to have been at least 3 feet in diameter. And at first I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a government drone. But no, there was a guy on the other side of Woodward with a remote control flying it around, and it had a little camera on it, and there was people around. You could actually pipe it in and display on your iPad whatever it was watching over
Really?
Woodward. Yeah. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah.
Also a little disturbing.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's welcome to the internet age.
The new
There's
age.
no getting off the grid. It's just-
Nope. You can't escape the world.
Well,
no.
God, I mean, so that was the whole, the conversation we were having earlier about, cops have the ability to just sit there and scan license plates now,
Right.
waiting for one to pop.
Yep.
You've got the limo company in Missouri that got, and this is just stupid. Talk about client data and that kind of stuff. Limo company in Missouri gets hacked. Come to find out, not only did they maintain names name, address, credit card number, the normal stuff you would expect to see in a customer database.
But what you actually bought.
Right. And no, these drivers were logging things in the company database, and these were like, celebrities that were coming in and out of St. Louis. So yeah, what drugs
It
were
wasn't
done.
just celebrities, it was politicians too.
Oh, as well. Oh, yeah. So, what drugs were done in the car, what sorts of sex were going on in the
where
car.
they stopped in certain cities. Yes.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting to see how that plays out, because it's the rather well-known security website, and they were yakking through the whole thing, and it's so there are 40 of these companies that we know about that got hacked because we found all the data on the same server. But this one company, the limo company, is the only one that hasn't responded to us at all to talk about it. So you know what? We're going to go ahead and put them on blast and just see what happens and how it goes.
Is that going to end up on limo leaks? It gives all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm sure it'll all wind up on TMZ is where I'm sure it's going to wind up.
Well, that's how hackers escalate, right? First time's an email, second one's a little a louder email, the third one's like, all right, fine, I'm just going to out you.
Well, yeah, we talked about that with Mark from Duo. Right. Hey, we'll try to do it nice.
I'm going to be a white hat, and then I'm going to be black hat.
Right. Yeah, because the last thing you want to do is to have me, don't ignore me. Yeah, I will not be ignored, Greg. I think. But no, so,
right.
Getting back to the zone. I mean, that's the thing. How are you balancing that? Because as you get into kids in their teenage years, it gets a little more time intensive with them, and it gets or are they getting more autonomous and giving you more free time to play with this kind of stuff?
No, I have a 10-year-old and I have a 13-year-old
who play hockey.
Who play hockey, a lot of hockey, and we added football to the repertoire too, and that's an everyday thing. So, and then there's summers.
So now you're a taxi driver, essentially.
Yes, I'm a taxi driver and a chef. Not a very good one because I do burn all my pots and pans. So, yeah, it's hard, I mean, you're caretaking a house, you're caretaking a family, and, you want to work from home so you can do all those things.
Right.
There needs to be an income. And it's hard because you don't step away. You don't step away from 7 till 5 or 6 or whatever it is. And and I do the field trips, and I do run up the forgotten lunches, and I do that. It's very
all the school field trips and volunteer classroom stuff.
Volunteering, I do a lot of volunteering.
A weird thing, and I'm trying to think back to when we were kids, because I was just having a conversation with somebody about this over the weekend, where apparently the chaperones on the school field trips are not allowed to ride the bus. They have to drive
now
separately.
Or then?
No, now. And I'm trying to remember if it was the same thing then.
I don't. That's a good question. I don't remember, but I do. I can verify that. Yeah, that all the volunteers now, the chaperones have to follow the bus in their own car.
Which why?
Kind of defeats the purpose, does it not?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's up with that? I don't get it. Because all the chaperones when I was growing up were on the bus.
See, that's what I thought I remembered
they were on
as
the
well.
bus, and they were always, whacking.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Rolled up newspaper, bad kid. Whack.
I honestly don't know the reason for that. Maybe they're trying to pack more kids in. I don't know.
Maybe they're trying to keep the bus drivers from being outed for all the horrible things we see in the news.
I don't want to hear that because my kid's bus driver is awesome.
I'm sorry.
Don't break that little bubble that I've got.
Don't destroy the illusion.
Right.
But no, I mean, it's and it is. I mean, it's weird. I mean, and we deal with the same stuff. I mean, I mean, we've had these conversations. Okay, yeah, no, I can't do that meeting. Then I'm picking up Clara from the bus at that point.
Yeah, my business day is from 8:30 to 3. That's just the reality of the situation. I cannot escape that.
Yeah.
That's just the way my schedule is.
Yeah, it's like that for a lot of people, and it's nice that there's employers out there that accommodate that, and kids get sick, and kids get sick, and
well, it's a virtue and a vice. I mean, technology today, with the technology we have, we can work all day.
That's just it. I can work anywhere as long as I have an internet connection. I mean, after 5 o'clock, boom. Like we were joking about this at the bar. If my client calls me up at 5:30, I'll work till 10.
Yep. That happened Halloween.
Yeah, you know what my rate used to be?
Yeah. It just doubles.
Right. You work very late at night and pretty much destroy your access to your server because you make silly mistakes.
Right.
Falling asleep.
That so makes me laugh that you choned yourself out of a server. That's awesome.
I choned myself. did not mean to do that. I know better.
And you'll never do that again, I guarantee.
That's the one that I repeat to myself not to use, and for some reason
I will not show myself.
I was in the Matrix.
Yeah, but apparently the wrong one.
That was the red one.
The Matrix actually kicked you out.
Exactly. Yeah, she took the red pill.
Yeah.
All right, so we're coming up against the end of the show here, and I want to make sure we double back. And so the Toscano Media guys had to take off. We will put a link out to their Vimeo site on the recap tomorrow. Sherry, people can find you out at blueargylemedia.com. Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
And sherryvoles.com.
Oh, that's right. Sherryvoles.com as well. And all of your photos, or at least the ones of us, are out there on Facebook.com/DetroitNet. And they're
and
outstanding.
IT and the D, right? We have them on both or just Detroit?
No, just Facebook. Yeah. I only threw them on the DetroitNet page.
No, that's what I meant. Facebook. Yeah.
I do want to mention something that I'm not a child abuser, that these photos that I do for the holidays are all in fun. They get tied up with Christmas lights. It's all very festive.
Just to clear that up.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it wasn't like a Betty Page motif that you were going for.
They are hilarious photos, and I'm doing another event.
I saw people on your Facebook profile that were on your wall that were actually asking for them to be redone again this year. So,
although I can understand that photographers that show up at my kids' daycare center, they probably want to tie up some of those kids that scream.
Yes. On occasion, I feel
I feel their pain. Yes.
Exactly. And so then, Tom, with Agile and Beyond, it's agileandbeyond.org.
.org, yeah.
.org, yes.
.org.
That's what he said. The conference is 222.
Yes, it is 220 February
out in Dearborn.
In Dearborn, Adobe Hotel. Yep.
And registrations are open and accessible and available for purchase now. And you are still looking for sponsors, and you are still looking for speakers.
Sure. Yes, we'd like as much participation as we can get. Yeah, thanks you guys for having me, and especially the PBRs. They were fabulous. Thank you very much.
Where are the meat sticks?
They're in the bag.
Where are the meat sticks?
They're right there in the bag.
Here you go.
We didn't pass out the meat sticks.
I don't actually want one.
Okay.
And you
I
want to
don't
know
want
what's
either.
funny about
We'll mark that down. 9:56.
It took until 10:57 to get a good quote.
10:57. See a daylight savings.
Line all worked up for that. Somebody was going to offer me a meat stick, and I was going to say, "No, I'm sorry, honey, I have a headache." And I do actually have a headache.
Which brings us back to the wife comments.
And on that note,
so we are out of here. This was the IT and the D show, brought to you by DetroitNet.org. Thanks everybody for listening. You can find us at DetroitNet.org or itandthed.com. We'll have the recap and segments out there shortly. Thanks for listening.
Enjoy.
Yeah, so now I'm just doing stupid stuff to make me laugh.
Or wait, what do you have in Switzerland? Some kind of pikemen?
I don't know. I am from Germany, where the age of consent is 14.
What is it, the Alabama of Europe?
In many ways, yes.
The emergency destruct system is now activated.
Look out, Flash!
Flash! Don't move! Stay where you are!
Long live Flash! You've saved your life. Have a nice day.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.